Hi, Dr. Beth here at HouseFit, and today I want to share with you this amazing analogy that I heard a couple years ago about prevention and wellness and why it is so important to start as early as possible to stay healthy and active. So here in St. Louis, we all know about the Mississippi River. It's a big part of our landscape. And when you head up north to where it starts in Minnesota, it's really a much different body of water. It's kind of a big creek when it starts coming out of the lake, and it's something small and negotiable. I can probably cross it and only have to get up to my waist, in depth of water, but I don't need any kind of special equipment to do it. I can just choose to cross that Mississippi River up at its origins, and it's not a big task. It doesn't take a lot of time, effort, energy. Now, if you travel down here to St. Louis, where we're at, the Mississippi River is a whole different body of water. It takes a lot more time, effort, energy, money to travel across the river. You need a big power boat, you need big bridges. It's a lot more thought and planning and effort to accomplish the same task of crossing the Mississippi River. And then when we head down to New Orleans, when we head down to the Delta, crossing the Mississippi is a huge task. It's almost impossible. You're taking several bridges or you're taking a plane, and the amount of time, energy, and effort to accomplish the same task has multiplied significantly. We'd use that to compare to something like loss of balance or fall prevention. Okay, so if we take this analogy and apply it to balance and falls, when you're up in Minnesota, when you're up at the beginning of the Mississippi where it's just more like a creek, that might be somebody who is just starting to notice that they're a little more unsteady on their feet. Maybe you're reaching for walls, maybe you're reaching for furniture, maybe you're spending a lot more time and effort thinking about how you walk, especially if you're on sidewalks or grass or gravel or in a new area, and you're spending a lot more mental energy to make sure you don't have a fall. But you think that's a normal part of aging and you do nothing about it. So we continue to flow down the river to where you maybe have your first fall. And whether you have an injury or not, now you're starting to be very fearful of falling. You start giving up the things you love to do. You're not golfing anymore. You're not going out into your garden anymore. You're not leaving the house as much, and you're starting to rely on others. Your world has become smaller. And now we're down to having an injury. You fall and break a hip. You fall and break your shoulder. The average cost of a fall is $34,000, and now it takes a lot longer. It takes a lot more money to recover from that. It takes more time. Now you've maybe had to have surgery and a rehab stay, and you're still not able to do all of the things you love to do, but you still think it's a normal part of aging and you do nothing, and now you have another fall and you've lost your independence. And the cost of a year in a nursing home, at least in this area, is about $105,000 for a year. And so now you've lost independence. It's a lot more costly, and it's just become a much more bigger problem to try to solve. So here at HouseFit, we truly try to educate and empower our aging community so that you can start to notice these changes very early on, when they are easy to fix, easy to stay on top of, and much easier to manage than when you travel further down the river, further into the progression of loss of independence. It becomes a much larger task to try to recover from. So hopefully you found that just as fascinating as I did, a great helpful analogy for why prevention and focusing on wellness is absolutely a vital important part of aging well. Thanks so much for your time.